Welcome back to the program. After many years of simply lobbying, some Nigerian socio-political groups in South Africa have collectively agreed to pursue the legal route regarding their right to vote in national elections from their bases abroad. They believe that with the immense contributions they make towards the nation's GDP through billions of naira annually in remittances, they deserve to have a say in the process of electing the nation's leaders and their representatives. Nigeria's Electoral Act 2010, Section 12, which deals with eligibility for voter registration, does not give room for those abroad to register, but the groups are insisting that that must be changed. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, reports.
The groups claim that after many years of gentle lobbying, they are now ready to fight to be allowed to play a more active role in the nation's political space, and they give reasons why.
Remittances from Nigerians in diaspora amounts to about $35 billion every year as per 2016, which is about up to 7% of Nigeria's GDP. Why then should you expunge our right to vote when you accept our economic contribution towards development?
I'm calling on these parties to recognize their diaspora more strongly. We should be able to also vote in our conventions in our party back home in Nigeria.
Many Nigerians in diaspora, and we are all disenfranchised. And I believe that we can make a lot of difference if we are allowed to vote.
I see no reason why diaspora shouldn't be given 3 senators. One for Asia, and maybe Europe, one for Africa, one for America, and one for Australia. So I see no reason why people in diaspora shouldn't be given a slot of at least 5 districts, five constituencies. Because with this, it will ginger and re-stimulate our sense of patriotism.
More than 10 African countries like South Africa, Botswana, Sao Tome and Principe, and Algeria have provisions for external voting. Others like Ghana are still in the works implementation-wise. And Nigerians abroad say their case should be no different.
All of us, regardless of our political affiliation, make ourselves present at the National Assembly. We make it a diaspora day whereby we go and protest.
The best way to go, no lobby. We need to sue the appropriate authority that we believe will make it happen for us to vote in diaspora.
If they are interested in going to court, I will join them.
The chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Diaspora Matters, Honorable Rita Oji, says much more has actually been done on this matter.
The bill has passed the second reading. We are waiting. It has been sent to the Committee on Electoral Matters. And I was told to make an input, which I have done. So it is good for them to vote, and it's very important and natural.
She also raises the issue of the challenges of data collection for Nigerians abroad, which she says is being worked on alongside the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC.
I think there are 2 things that we are hinting on: the data and the legislation. We in Committee on Diasporas, by the grace of God, we have been able to tackle both issues. The rest is remaining for the government to do their bit.
The groups insist that if data collection for the BVN has been successful, voter registration abroad and actual voting and even representation in government for those abroad must be given more serious thought and action. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
In the Horn of Africa, 3 soldiers have died in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, after a car bomb exploded as they were trying to defuse it. Officials say the men were dismantling part of the car when the device went off. No group has claimed responsibility for the bomb, but Al-Shabaab militants have launched a string of attacks in Mogadishu and beyond in their bid to impose their brand of Islam. Somalia has been at war since 1991 when clan-based warlords overthrew dictator Siad Barre and then turned on each other. And finally on the program, recent data from the World Bank shows that nearly 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa still lack access to energy. However, a young Cameroonian engineer is looking to change all that by teaching young people in rural communities about the power of clean energy.
Bolivie Wakam is an engineer in renewable energy, and he's sharing his knowledge and skill with communities across Cameroon. The 29-year-old who studied renewable energy in Italy has made it his mission to train young people on how to install solar panels and use a free and accessible source of energy in a country where mainstream power and electricity supply is either too expensive or out of reach. Today, Wakam is in his hometown of Batufam in western Cameroon, teaching a group of students on how to purify water using cheap solar skills. Wakam launched his NGO Africa Tech Solar 2 years ago with the aim of promoting the use of clean energy. This energy is sourced locally, meaning we tap into solar energy to power the panels. So what we have here is an independent system that uses a battery charged by the sun, which then powers the panels, and the advantage is that the solar energy doesn't pollute the environment. It's clean energy and it's renewable. Renewable sources of energy can be used over and over again, and people don't even need to pay for the electricity because it's free. According to the World Bank, nearly 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa, most of them in rural areas where poverty is high, still lack access to energy, and electrification is barely keeping pace with population growth. Wakam's Africa Tech Solar is working to change those numbers. He has so far installed solar-powered street lights, multimedia installations, and a water purification plant in Batufam. I would, in 3, 4 or 5 years, like to see the majority of Africans having this solar kit, especially in the rural areas, because those are the areas that are the most affected by a lack of electricity. Over 60 people from Batufam and surrounding towns have been taught about renewable energy and trained to assemble and maintain solar panels. Following today's intense class with Wakam, students put their training to the test by installing a solar panel at the local library. Access to electricity has changed lives here. Business and learning can go on for longer periods, and people are using computers, and his students say they are inspired by the idea of clean, renewable energy. African governments could provide a large chunk of this by boosting tax collection, cutting corruption, ending subsidies for unprofitable utilities, and stemming illicit financial transfers.
Well, that's Network Africa. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jaka Rogers.